main session. We have a number of guests today that have joined us. I extended invitations to those that we've been working with to help circulate the survey and generate responses for that's been out there that we're going to review in a little bit. So we'll get to that in a minute. I think what I'll do is just make sure, I'm going to need a minute here, that I've got everyone from the council. I see Nate has joined. Have that noted. Sue is here. Sue, I saw you try to go to the executive session meeting, and I was trying to figure out how I can message you quickly to come to this one, but I see you got that, so thank you.
No, that's okay. I was waiting, so I figured I'd just check the other one, and then when I got the notification that no one was in that one, so I came back.
Yep. I'm trying to see if I'm missing anyone else. Joe, Hunter. Okay, I think I've got everyone kind of accounted for in both the council and the guests, so we will get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to ask for kind of like the record for those that are guests to just do a brief introduction of themselves, and I'll quickly work around as I identify people. So Bill Jordan, could you go give a quick introduction?
Yes, hi everybody. My name is Bill Jordan. I'm the Director of Engineering at the Department of Public Service, and I also participate in the Electric Utility Cybersecurity Initiative ordered by the PUC.
Thank you, Bill. Appreciate you joining us today. I also see Hunter Thompson. Hunter?
Hunter Thompson. I'm the Director of Telecommunications and Connectivity at the Public Service Department.
Thank you. Have you had a trying week and a half?
Yeah, they got the driveway enough so I could get out last Thursday, but it's still driving through a construction zone and one lane when I can get in and out.
Hopefully they get that sorted out for you. Sorry you're going through all that. Where else are we? Emmanuel, would you like to go next, please?
Absolutely. Emmanuel Ajama, Director of Information Technology Services for VLCT. So we represent our municipals.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Ben Montrose.
Hi. Yep, I'm Ben Montrose. I am the program manager for the public drinking water program for the state. So we oversee all of the public drinking water systems, including all the towns and villages and cities.
Thank you, Ben, for joining us today. And Christine.
Yeah, I'm Christine Hultquist, the Executive Director of the Vermont Community Broadband Board. We've been tasked with getting fiber to every on-grid address in the state, as well as getting reliable broadband to every off-grid address as well.
Thank you for joining us also today. One item of note, Secretary Denise Riley Hughes will not be joining us, so I'm acting on her behalf today for the CIO's office. I believe we have enough to go ahead and get started. If there's not any questions, for those that are on the council, that's there. For those that are joining as guests, the council and membership is on the website, so I wasn't going to go through and require all of them to do an introduction at this time. All right. So here we are, meeting 4. Seems like it's going fast. Quick high-level agenda for today. Review notes and items from last meeting. Note any corrections or questions that may come about. I wanted to go over a preliminary overview, just some high-level statistics on the survey, where that's at and stuff. Then we will enter an executive session to do a deeper dive into that, not record it, have a little bit more of a, there's not much that's at risk, but to make sure that there's no risk created as a result of this. We will use a separate meeting for that. so that it will be not recorded. When we enter that, I don't believe I included any of the guests in that. I will, based on the motion of the council, if they are to be invited, I will then forward that to them at that time. Once we go through that, we will close out the executive session, come back and start to tackle the next item that's in statute for us, which is to look at the results of that and develop a strategic plan on how to improve the cyber readiness for critical infrastructure operators within the state of Vermont. And so hopefully, you know, we'll go through this. This is obviously not going to be like a 10-minute exercise. The idea is that we'll look at the survey. I distributed the survey so folks could look at least a dashboard of some of the sampling of the results, some key questions. And then the next meeting, right, try and work and have something drafted. So the next meeting, we can get into a little bit more of the nitty-gritty is defining what is going to be in that plan. I am working from I guess I'll say, an expectation that we have that strategic plan finalized by the end of the calendar year, so that that plan can be part of our annual report to the legislature for submission in January. So that's kind of the schedule I'm working on, with also the idea that we can start acting on the items we identify in that plan with the beginning of calendar year 25. As I say that, I realize that all those memories of Y2K now are a quarter of a century old, which makes me feel really. Any open discussion, and then we'll adjourn. So, any questions before we go on? Feel free to drop them in the chat or raise your hand. Excellent. Oops, I skipped one. Did anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? I'm going to stop sharing and bring up the last meeting notes. So who we had for attendees, invited guests, none from the public. You know, the survey update, really the big one was the defining the clarifying language around what will be used to invoke an executive session. Timing was pretty good to have that squared away for this month. Then we discussed and tabled the idea of making resources available through the website. And that was it. Was there any questions or comments? Corrections? Okay. Man, I must be really good at taking notes. I'm going to stop sharing that. Well, I cheat. We got the recording, right? And then I feed the recording into some AI and it gives me a nice gap anyway. So where are we? Let's go back. Talk a little bit about the survey. So first, I want to thank those that are on the phone that have helped us get the word out about the survey. Captain Lone, I think, is on, or Major, I'm sorry, Sean Lone. The VIC was our first and primary channel, the Vermont Intelligence Center. They distributed out of the 114 responses that we've received to date, 80 of them, 80 in the number in the 80s, came from direct outreach through the Vermont Intelligence Center. So that was good to kind of validate that at least a portion of the critical infrastructure operators are plugged into that. We then realized that there wasn't everyone. So we've reached out to Hunter, Bill Jordan, Christine, and others, Emmanuel, and Ted Brady at the Vermont League of Cities and Towns, because municipalities fell under the government facilities sector, to really kind of advocate and push that out. We did individual collectors for each one, so we have a sense of how they additional items came from each one. So they were all provided additional responses. So thank you very much for helping us do that, because I think 114 responses, while not comprehensive by any means, we know there's probably in the thousands of when we look at water system, wastewater operators and stuff like that. But when we get into the results, we'll see that it is a good representative sample and will give us a baseline to work from moving forward. Are there any questions about that? That's kind of like all I would like to share at this point about the survey and the results. It is still open. I will probably, no, I won't probably. I will let it run till the end of July, just in case someone's sitting out there and had planned to do it and it's sitting in their inbox. And we'll close it at the end of July and do kind of final wrap up of the data analysis. All right. With that, I think this is what everybody's really excited about, starting to look at some of the more in-depth things. I need a motion to enter into executive session to review the results of the survey, which, how I want to say this, right? If made public, could pose a risk to those entities that responded, especially in some categories. The number of respondents was few enough that it could be determined maybe who someone is. So I will need a motion, and then to go with that is to whether or not to invite those guests that have joined us today that have helped with it.
Sean, well, one question before I make the motion. My assumption is that the people that are invited here today are of the character that we want in the executive session. Therefore, I'm assuming the motion that I'm about to make would include that. I mean, why else are they here? I guess my question.
I would not have extended that if I was afraid of their risk, but I thought that for their own kind of return on their effort to help us drive this, for them to see the results for their sector may be enlightening.
Yeah. So I make the motion that we go into executive session and include for the reasons that you outlined, and include any of the guests that are on the call here.
Thank you, Joe.
I will second Joe's motion.
Who was that?
Erica, sorry.
Oh, sorry, I did not catch that quick enough. Okay. All those in favor, either raise your hand, say aye.
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 Excellent. Thank you. Anyone opposed? All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to, at this point, stop the recording, end this meeting. I will send that invite over to those guests. So please bear with me. We will reconvene at 1:50 in the executive session. Thank you. Oh, hey, welcome. Yeah, just want to make sure I did not. Can I not forward this?
I do not have a separate invitation for the executive session.
Okay, I will add you right now. Thank you, David. Sure. haven't seen you in person. Yeah, I know. Although I don't have my handy laptop. So either raise it. Yeah, I'm working in my basement to watch the puppy. Incoming. You should see it in a second, David. welcome back. We only have a few minutes before our 3 o'clock, so I'd like to wrap up after the executive session. Does anybody have, based on what we just looked through, the only agenda item we had now was to document any ideas folks may have for things we should consider as part of the strategic plan. If you don't have any you want to share now, you can also just share them with me in email and we'll start to build that out for our September meeting. But I wanted to give, while it was fresh, people an idea. Christine, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm thank you for inviting me to this meeting. This is an area I'm very nervous about, the telecommunications sector, especially the fact that we have a good plan in place to get connection to all addresses. But at the same time, I look at the companies we're working with. The state has been focused on, developing the CUDs and working with partners, but even their engineering partners seem to have a lack of understanding in this area and not necessarily focusing on it. So I do think the earlier point that was made about focusing on sectors is an important one. And then, of course, it's electricity, telecommunications, water. I don't know about financial institutions, but that may be out of the scope of this. But anyway, those are my thoughts.
Thank you. Any other thoughts to share before we adjourn for this meeting? All right, if we can get a motion in a second, we will adjourn and see everyone in September.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Everybody, no problem getting seconds on that one. Excellent. Thank you all very much. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I jumped the gun. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Okay.
Anybody want to stay longer? No? Okay. Thank you all. See you in September. Please reach out if you have any questions.